Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar presentation, Working with You as You Work from Home. Today, we will be focused on TotalPatent One. I'm Allie Morton, Marketing Manager at LexisNexis IP, and I'd like to just cover a few things quickly before we get started. This webinar is part of a series. At the end of today's presentation, there will be a slide that will show you where you can go to register for the other webinars that are part of this series. Also during the webinar, please feel free to submit questions using the questions feature in the control panel. At the end of the webinar presentation, we will unmute all the lines and you can ask questions live as well. So feel free to either submit via the questions chat box or ask live at the end. Now I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Rosalind Wade. She is one of our customer adoption specialists here at LexisNexis IP. And thank you again for attending today's presentation. With that, I will turn it over to you, Rosalind.
Thank you so much, Allie. So we are looking at really uncertain times right now. It's limiting a lot of aspects of our life while we all practice the social and physical distancing. The schools have closed. The majority of the workforce has become home-based, including most of our staff here at LexisNexis IP. Even myself, I'm running this webinar from my home office. So, we're all doing everything we can to help do our part. Now, since we know many of you are working in home offices, and for some of you guys this is new, we wanted to help by introducing our Working With You While You Work From Home series. Working from home can be a hard transition, but never fear, yay, we're here to help. Today, we're going to talk about a few time-saving tips within TotalPatent One that can help make your working from home a more seamless process. So before we look at that, I'd like to poll two questions. So the first question, you should see this coming up. Have you found it easier or more difficult to complete work tasks while you work from home? I'm going to give everybody a minute there. All right. I'm going to give about one more minute there, or a few more seconds. All right, awesome. So it looks like in looking at the poll, it looks like 18% of you feel like it's easier, 18% of you feel like it's more difficult, and 64% feel like there's no change at all. Totally can get either side of that coin. In a lot of ways, it is easier. For instance, you may not have to get dressed that day. So that can always make things easier. Things that are more difficult, there's a lot of distractions. Some people feel like it's harder to stay focused because you are in your home environment. And then for those who are no change, for myself, it was actually no change because I always work from home. So there was no change there for me. My second question. So what has been your biggest challenge switching to working from home? And so there's a few options here. Is it technology issues, not being in person with your coworkers, not having a dedicated office area, or being distracted from children or pets at home? So I'm going to put that polling question up there. Now, I can tell you that for myself, it is definitely the children and pets. We do have children that, of course, are being quarantined as well. So we have to kind of teach them all of the things that they need while still working, your full-time job. And my dog, my sweet little dog, there are just too many people in the house. She can't calm down. She is not happy about all these people being at home. All right, so I'm looking at some of these answers, and it looks like 50% of you agree with me. The children and pets, that's a big distraction. And then it looks like we have 25% of you technology issues. I totally understand that as well. Here, we had to make some changes so that the whole workforce could kind of be on the same platforms at the same time and not being in person with your coworkers. I definitely understand that. Sometimes just running over to somebody's desk can keep you from having to do a 20 reply email. So totally get that too. All right, so let's take a look at some of the tips that we can go through today. And thank you so much for the answers to those questions. So what I'm hoping is that the tips in today's webinar will speed up that workflow while you're dealing with those challenges and distractions. So that's what we're going to focus on. So my first tip is sharing your saved list with coworkers using our shareable folders. So some people know about our folders. It's a way to kind of grab all of your documents and save them into one place. But not everybody knows that you can actually share those folders. So even if your folder is already created, let's say you have a few that are already in there and you want to share those now, we'll take a look at how that sharing option will always be available. So what I've done here, I just ran a quick search. So that's all I've done so far. And I have my list. Now I can go ahead and select all. I could just select a few to add into a folder, whatever you need to do here. And I'm just starting right at the beginning, just to be helpful for anyone that's never created a folder before. But super simple. This icon right here, you want to hit Save to Folder. From here, you can either add a folder on the fly, give your folder a name, or you can dump these into an existing folder. So if I wanted to say, I want to put it in this results to export, I can hit Move, and it will end up in that folder for me. You'll just get a little message up at the top saying that it's been added. Perfect. Now, everything is in my folder. I'm good to go here. I want to go right up here to this folder's icon. I'll go ahead and click on that. And again, on that single page display, all of my folders are over here on the left and their contents are on the right. So what I can do is I can make the updates to my folder that I need. I can rename my folder. I can add a subfolder. I can delete. But this little icon right here, the share icon, if you click that, you can add the email address of anyone that subscribes to your TotalPatent One platform. So anyone that has a username for TotalPatent One at your company, you can share these results with them. So all you have to do is put in their email address and hit Add, Share, and you're good to go. That shares that folder for you. Now, something to keep in mind, as the two of you make updates, so if you're making updates, the person that you shared it with needs to see those updates. You want to make sure to reshare that folder. So we share the folder at the way it exists at that moment. As you make updates, all you got to do, just share your folder again, and you're good to go. So that is my first tip, those shareable folders. Another great option while you're working from home is creating alerts. So the way that our alerts work, you can, and let me just pull those up real quick. Let me go back to our results. So with our alerts, you can be notified when certain things are being updated. And let's look at adding just a quick filter just so we can see all of the options. All right, and we'll just add this one here. Okay, awesome. All right, so we have our results. Now with your alerts, you can actually base your alerts on two different things. So you can base your alert off of a query. So that's going to be your search. Whatever that search is that you created, you'll be able to base your alert on that particular search. You can also base it on alerts including filters. So if you've added any filters to your search, you'll be able to search that way. And the other way that you can create an alert base is based on a selection. So let's say that I just wanted to track this particular one. I can come down here and click on search based on a selection. Today, we'll go ahead and base our alert on a query. So then you get this pop-up right over here on the right. And these are the two alert options. So you can be alerted to new publications or new and updated publications. Now, this is my search. This is what I base my alert off of. I can change out the authorities here if I want. Right here, probably one of the most important parts of creating an alert, give your alert a name. The alerts can be super helpful, but they're not helpful if you don't know one from the other. We do kind of add an arbitrary name and code here. So always make sure that you are changing out that name. Now this is when we start to get into that helpful part while we're working from home. You can actually tell us how often you want this to go out. So do you want this alert to run daily, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever you need? You can even select the time, which is super helpful. And the end date. So if this information is only relevant to you for, let's say, the next 6 months, you can put an end date on here. Totally optional, but that way the alert will turn off. You don't have to go in. Now this right here, send results by email. This is going to be your big time saver. This is going to be the bang for your buck here. What we have set up is a way for you to send this alert via email. Great thing about this, you can send this list to anyone. So it doesn't just have to be someone looking at your TotalPatent One account. You can send this to clients as well. So you just want to put your email addresses in here, separate those by semicolon. That's all you have to do. Right here, another great feature of this email option, you can tell us how you want us to display these results within this email. So do you want the results of this email in the body of the email? Do you want your results from this alert as an attachment? Or would you like both? So you can do any of those options. Once you select your file format, and let's say we want to list these as attachments. When you select your file format, you have a few options. So you can do Excel, you can do PDF in one zip file. So if my alert contains 10 different documents, I can have them all 10 in one PDF zip file, or I could have 10 separate attachments so that they would all come as in one document. Same with Word, you have those two options as well. All right, so I'm going to select Excel, and look at this. I can actually edit what fields are in that Excel document. Right over here, if this isn't what I'm looking for, I can deselect. So whatever I want to include in there, I can even change this right here. I can change the order. And then from there, if I hit OK, then I have that saved in there. I can avoid empty reports. So that just means if this alert runs, and let's say that there are no matches to my alert. Do I want to receive an email? Do I want an email to go out saying, hey, just want to let you know, ran your alert today. No documents were found. I can get that email. However, if I don't use, it's not even on my radar. If it doesn't match anything, it's fine. I'll just wait till the next run. Then you can avoid the empty reports that way. So once you've made all these changes, you hit save. And then your alerts are going to live right up here in this bell icon. So in the bell icon, you can see a few different alerts that I have. And let's take a look. Let's see if this one has some good results here. I do want you to see these results. There we go. That's a good one. So to see your alerts, you just come into this area here and click on it. Right here, you can see all the batches. So that's all the time. Those are the times that my alert ran. Right here, I can see my matches. Now, even in here, we have additional features. So I can actually see these. This magnifying glass, that's going to allow me to see the results of my alert within the platform. So that page, that screen that we looked at where you can see them all the documents, that one. Since I have this selected as being generated in an Excel file, that's why I see that. And here I can actually export them from here as well. This settings icon. The settings icon is where I see everything that I use, all of my criteria for setting up that alert, and I can make my edits there. All right, so what I would be happy to do now is to go ahead and open up the chat for questions. Everyone was muted. Let me come in here and unmute everyone. All right, so everyone, I can hear everyone now. Feel free to let me know what questions you have. If not, if you don't want to save them on the phone, you can always send me over a chat, and I will be happy to answer your questions. All right, so it looks like we have question one. Question one is, do I have access to all of these features with my login? So the answer is yes, absolutely you do. With this, you do have the ability to, anything that we covered today, you will have access to. All right, any other questions? Okay, this is another good one. So will you be sending out a recording of today's webinar? So yes, absolutely. Whenever you sign up for one of our webinars, you have two ways to watch those. And of course, if you're not in the live one. So the first thing is, as long as you sign up, we always send you the recording of the webinar a little bit after the webinar is complete. Also, and I will show you this in a moment, you have the ability to go to our website, our webinar website, and view all of them there as well. What other questions do I have? All right. All right, awesome. So before we leave, just a couple of things that I want to point out. And let me just get to that screen. All right, so the first thing is those webinars. I mentioned before that you can actually see the webinars. So make sure that you're checking our webinar page on a regular basis. We're constantly updating it. You can access that page at LexisNexisIP.com/webinars. So you'll see any of our past webinar recordings as well as register for upcoming webinars. You're going to find a wealth of information here on different topics as well as training-focused webinars. You'll find those here as well. So make sure to check that out. The next thing that I like to point out is that what you're part of right now is our series, as I mentioned before, working with you while you work from home. This is a series, so if you want to sign up for this webinar for the future webinars that are attached to this series, feel free to come over www.LexisNexisIP.com/webinars, and you can sign up for as many of those as you'd like. And from there, I do like to point out, the trainer in me likes to point out, www.LexisNexisIP.com/TP1. This is where you will find all of our training resources. You can sign up for training webinars. They're free of charge. You can also view 3 to 5 minute videos on key features within TotalPatent One that walk you through how to do those. And then there are downloadable materials there that you can put on your computer and keep handy. So thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Please stay tuned for our upcoming webinars, looking at our sister platforms, Patent Advisor as well as Patent Site. And I hope you have an amazing day as you work from home. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.